I stand here today, a CEO at the helm of a thriving business, a company that has seen its fair share of success. We've built a dedicated team, crafted a solid business plan, and established a steady revenue stream that makes us feel invincible. But then, out of nowhere, a financial hurdle appears on the horizon, threatening to derail everything we've worked so hard for. It's like watching a storm cloud gather on a sunny day, and I can't help but wonder how we can navigate through this unexpected turbulence. Now, let's talk about something that's crucial in these moments: net working capital, or NWC for short. You may have heard the term tossed around in financial discussions, but what does it really mean? Simply put, net working capital is a financial metric that measures our ability to pay off our current liabilities with our current assets. Think of it as a snapshot of our short-term financial health. It's the difference between what we own that can be quickly turned into cash, like cash itself, accounts receivable, and inventory, and what we owe in the short term, such as accounts payable and short-term debt. So why is this important? The positive net working capital indicates that we have enough short-term assets to cover our short-term obligation, giving us a cushion against unexpected events. It's like having a safety net when you're walking a tightrope. But if we find ourselves with negative net working capital, it's a warning sign that we might struggle to meet our obligations. And that's where the real stress begins. Let's break it down a bit further. Imagine our current assets total $500,000, while our current liabilities sit at $300,000. That gives us a net working capital of $200,000. This is a positive sign. It means we're in a good position to pay off our short-term debts and can even consider investing in new opportunities or expanding our operations. However, it's essential to keep an eye on how efficiently we're using our assets. After all, having a lot of cash sitting idle isn't the best use of our resources. On the flip side, if our current liabilities exceed our assets, we're looking at negative net working capital. This scenario can lead to serious liquidity issues. But let's not panic just yet. Sometimes, negative net working capital can be part of a deliberate strategy. For instance, a company using a just-in-time inventory system might keep minimal stock on hand, leading to a negative NWC. Or if we negotiate extended payment terms with our suppliers, we might find ourselves in a similar situation. The calculation of net working capital is straightforward. We subtract our current liabilities from our current assets. This simple formula gives us a clear picture of our liquidity status. But it's not just about the numbers, it's also about understanding the underlying factors that contribute to our net working capital. Let's dive deeper into why net working capital matters. First and foremost, it's a liquidity management tool. It helps us plan for short-term financing needs and can even guide us in securing favorable financing terms from lenders. A healthy net working capital position can also enhance our operational efficiency. By optimizing our working capital cycle, we can improve cash flow management and profitability. Moreover, having a positive net working capital opens doors to investment opportunities. It allows us to seize new projects or acquisitions without scrambling for cash. And let's not forget about risk mitigation. Maintaining a positive NWC gives us a buffer against unexpected downturns, protecting our business from financial distress. Now, let's talk about the relationship between net working capital and cash flow. These two concepts are intertwined and provide valuable insights into our financial health. A positive net working capital indicates that we have sufficient liquidity to meet our short-term obligations, while cash flow measures the movement of cash in and out of our business. A shorter cash conversion cycle means we can convert our resources into cash more quickly, which is a sign of efficient working capital management. Understanding the components of net working capital is also essential. Our current assets include cash and cash equivalents, accounts receivable, inventory, and prepaid expenses. On the liabilities side, we have accounts payable, accrued expenses, short-term debt, and deferred revenue. Each of these components plays a vital role in shaping our net working capital position. Accounts receivable and accounts payable are particularly significant. If we have a lot of money tied up in accounts receivable, it can negatively impact our cash flow. On the other hand, if we manage our accounts payable effectively, we can improve our liquidity position. It's a delicate balancing act that requires constant monitoring and adjustment. Several factors can affect our net working capital. For instance, high levels of accounts receivable can lead to cash flow issues, while excessive inventory can tie up capital. Seasonal fluctuations can also impact our working capital needs, as can economic conditions. Therefore, effective financial management practices are essential to optimize our net working capital. When it comes to financial decision-making, working capital is crucial. It influences our investment decisions, financing strategies, and cash flow management. If we don't have enough working capital, we may need to seek external financing, which can impact our long-term financial health. So, how do we improve our net working capital? There are several strategies we can implement. First, we can accelerate our accounts receivable collections. This might involve streamlining our invoicing process or offering incentives for early payment. Second, we can negotiate longer payment terms with our suppliers, allowing us to hold onto cash for longer. Optimizing inventory management is another critical area. By using just-in-time inventory methods or improving our forecasting, we can minimize carrying costs and free up cash. Additionally, reducing operating costs through renegotiation or streamlining processes can have a significant impact. Selling off non-core assets is another way to generate cash and improve our net working capital. If we have idle resources that aren't contributing to our core business, it might be time to let them go. Finally, we can explore equity financing options to inject cash into our business, but we must carefully consider the implications of raising funds this way. For small and medium-sized enterprises, effective net working capital management is even more critical. With limited resources, SMEs need to optimize their cash flow to remain financially healthy. Setting up cash flow forecasts, monitoring accounts receivable, and controlling inventory levels are all essential practices for SMEs. The accounting treatment of net working capital involves recording current assets and liabilities at their appropriate values. Any changes in net working capital are reflected in shifts in these values. By monitoring our net working capital and making necessary adjustments, we can improve our financial health and position ourselves for long-term success. In conclusion, net working capital is a vital financial metric that reflects our short-term liquidity and ability to meet obligations. By understanding its importance, components, and management strategies, we can navigate financial hurdles more effectively. Whether we're seasoned entrepreneurs or just starting, mastering net working capital is key to ensuring our business thrives in both good times and bad. So let's keep our eyes on the numbers, make informed decisions, and steer our company toward a successful future.